Hey, what is happening everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we have a pretty interesting topic to talk about when it comes to Microsoft's mixed reality headsets. So Microsoft claims that their headsets can be ran on pretty much any low-end hardware, most likely modern low-end hardware, and pretty much that the hardware requirements are not as high as the Oculus or the HTC Vive. So I have spent the day testing out my Samsung Odyssey headset with these three laptops. So what we have in front of us are three different laptops with three different specs. So on the left side, we have the Xiaomi Mi Notebook Pro. In the center, we have the Xiaomi Air 13, 2016 edition. And finally, on the right side, we have the MSI GL62M. We get an Ultrabook i7, an Ultrabook i5, and a laptop grade i7. Kaby Lake, Skylake, and Kaby Lake R, which is like the Coffee Lake for laptops. And for graphics cards, we get the NVIDIA MX150, the NVIDIA 940MX, and finally we have the GTX 1050 Ti. So as you guys can see here, we got a pretty nice range of modern low-end specs. So during my testing, there's something that I stumbled upon in the mixed reality settings menu, and that is the visual quality drop-down menu. And it had auto, low, medium, high, and very high that was in beta. I have just went ahead and rearranged the laptops from lowest to highest, from left to right, and here are the results. So for now, all I've tested was the Cliff House and Space Pirate Trainer, just enough to see if I'm able to get into VR at all. And surely enough, all of these guys were able to handle VR at some kind of level. Of course, the one on the far left was struggling, but putting it on lowest settings, it was just barely getting by, but it still was able to run the Cliff House and play Space Pirate Trainer at the lowest settings. With the Xiaomi Mi Notebook Pro, it was actually able to handle high settings and high settings in Space Pirate Trainer. The visuals were nice and the experience was pretty smooth. And finally, on the MSI laptop, we were able to go very high on both the game and the settings. Now, should you get these guys to play VR? Well, definitely not the Xiaomi Air 13, especially the 2016 edition. Although the 2017 edition is very similar to this one right here that also has an MX150, I don't recommend it because these things do heat up. And by the way, these two guys right here are actually Ultrabooks. So if you think about it, that's actually pretty amazing. You can literally take this laptop, put it on a coffee table in your living room, hook up two cables, and you're in VR. And the experience was very smooth, very enjoyable. And that is something that I've actually done on all of these laptops. And it was pretty awesome to be able to actually just go ahead and unplug two cables and plug them into an Ultrabook laptop like this one and be able to run VR wherever I want. Now you're probably asking, what do the settings menus do when you drop the settings down? Well, there are actually three main things that happen: FOV, resolution, and refresh rate. So for refresh rate, I can't exactly know what refresh rate I was running at, but that is a possibility that it drops the refresh rate from 90 Hz to 60, and on the store page they claim that if your laptop doesn't support the recommended HDMI spec, then the refresh rate will drop to 60 Hz, and I believe the resolution would also drop. So here's what I found out. So on the Air 13, I'm pretty sure the resolution was dropped to 1080 or something, and the field of view was actually also dropped, and that is actually pretty much it. I was able to run room scale VR on an Ultrabook in my living room using two cables only. And one thing I do plan to do is actually get a laptop and put it in a bag and run VR while the laptop is in my backpack running the VR headset. That is something that I plan to do in the future. I am still working on fixing some quirks, but that is actually pretty much it. So there's a lot of mixed feelings about this inside-out tracking, and in my opinion, although it has some quirks, I definitely think it's still pretty awesome because you can just take the headset, plug it anywhere, and run VR very, very easily. And I think this technology is here to stay. It's not going to go away. It's only going to get better with more cameras and more tracking and better overall controls. So stay tuned for the next video where I'll be testing out some older hardware, like some old gaming laptops and maybe some old desktop hardware, and see if we can run VR that way. But as you guys have saw, it's not really hard to run VR on these things. And the most enjoyable experience was pretty much on these two guys right here. But obviously they are never gonna beat your desktop unless you have an older desktop. Anyways, that is all for this video, so thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone.